This is Andi Purewal for Boxing News. I'm joined by promoter Eddie Hearn here in Monte Carlo. Eddie, a much more kind of reserved face-off between Ramla Ali and Guzman today, but a much more tense one in that main event.
Yeah, I think it's a really well-matched card. 4 title fights, 2 world title fights, 4 really interesting matchups. I mean, we'll start with Ramla Ali against Guzman, a fight that's doing big numbers online, got everyone talking, and it's a classic tale of boxer against puncher, if you like. Ramla Ali choosing to try and be the puncher as well in the first fight. Got knocked out, shows tremendous heart to want that rematch. She's back. It's an unbelievably dangerous fight, but we believe she can win, and she's trained hard, focused, ready for a nail bite in 10 rounds to open off the broadcast tomorrow. Sully Sissoko got a very tough fight. There's 3 Mexicans on this card in the away corner, if you like. I know Guzman's the A side because of the victory, but Lucero for Sissoko. It's going to be an all-action 12-round fight for the WBC silver title. And just wait till you see Nonshinga against Curiel. It will be an absolute all-out war for the IBF world title between those two. And I think Joe Cordina against Vazquez is going to give us absolute fireworks. Vazquez comes with a great reputation across America and a tough night's work for Joey. But I believe he'll show his class and prevail and prove that he's the number 130 pounder in the world.
In terms of a development in Joe's career, what are you hoping that he does show tomorrow night?
Just to carry on what he's doing. I mean, you can't fault Joe Cordina for his last 2 performances. One was a knockout of the year against Agawa, the other one was a fight of the year against Rakimov. So I think this will be a similar kind of fight to Rakimov. I think it will be a taxing fight. Vazquez has got big balls, he's got a great engine. He's desperate to try and win a world title, so he's going to come with everything. But as I said, I believe Joe's a special fighter, and he'll prove that tomorrow night.
I know nobody ever wants to look too far into the future, but speaking to Joe yesterday, he said that maybe beyond Saturday night, one more fight at super feather before he moves up. Yeah. Is that aligned with what you'd like to see from him?
I mean, I think, look, Joe is at that stage in his career, the biggest fights, the most amount of money, the fights that can create a legacy. I think he probably feels like the money fights are up at 135 for him. Do you know what I mean? So, I like the unification against Foster, a potential fight with Lee Wood, but he may be looking at Devin Haney, at 135, or whoever else is up there, whether it's, I don't know, Pitbull Cruz, George Kambosos, Shakur Stevenson, whoever. But, part of Joe's value is he's world champion. So you don't want to just give that up at the same time. So strategy is very important. I would like to see him unify the division because I think he's someone that can win the belts at 130 pounds, but get through Saturday night, that's the key.
Just one on there, you mentioned Devin Haney. I know he's got his Regis-Prograis fight to focus on, but he's always been a big boy for that weight. Do you realistically see him ever drop back down to 135?
I think at the moment he's kept the option open. Once a fighter moves up, it's very difficult for them to come back down. And I think I've watched him struggle. I mean, he's always been such a professional, but he's always been very tight at 135 pounds. I think he's going to really enjoy it at 140, and you may never see him go back. But obviously, if he loses, he has the option. I think if he loses against Regis-Prograis, I think he will return to 135. But if he wins against Regis-Prograis, I think he'll say, I'm here to stay, and everybody's got to come to fight me at 140.
I've seen you saying, I saw Jack Catterall saying over social media he'd like to fight with Teofimo Lopez. Any possibility there?
Yeah, love to. I mean, the biggest problem Top Rank have got now with Lopez is, I heard his statement saying, I'm not fighting in the theatre anymore, I want to fight in the sphere and all this kind of stuff. Like, history will tell you the demand and the numbers of Teofimo Lopez. We crept over a sellout of the theatre for Kambosos. They didn't sell out Josh Taylor against Teofimo Lopez at the theatre. The victory hasn't suddenly made him this headline act at the Sphere, in my opinion, but it's only my opinion, it's irrelevant. Top Rank have got to deal with him. He was supposed to fight December 9th on Heisman night, and he's not doing that because he wants too much money. So if Top Rank want to pay for Jack Catterall to fight him, love the fight, tremendous fight, but my prediction is they're going to struggle to be able to even get him out.
Can I just ask on the Sphere front, have you got any plans to try and engage with that audience there, try and get a show on there next year?
For sure. I think every boxing promoter would love to stage a fight at the Sphere. I mean, we've got a great relationship with MSG, from selling out the main arena multiple times to staging great fights at the theatre. We've been speaking to them for a long time about doing a fight at the Sphere. They want boxing at the Sphere. I think we shouldn't just go in with a fight, we should go in with a mega fight, particularly Joshua against Wilder. When we've looked at the options for Las Vegas, our focus is to hold that at the Sphere. But it's all talk at the moment. Everybody's talking about doing this, and I've heard Dana say the UFC are going to go there, which I'm sure they will as well. But it's an incredible arena, and we would love to be able to stage a fight there.
Just to go off a point, mate, something that you talked about there, Joshua Wilder. When you mentioned Las Vegas, how realistic of a site is that, and the financial element? How big of a difference is it to stage one there as opposed to say Saudi?
I mean, it's different to the numbers we were offered from Saudi Arabia. It's not a huge difference. It's enough to be noticed, but also it's a lot of money. And there's no point talking about the deal that we accepted from Saudi Arabia because that deal is no longer in play. So it's irrelevant. We have to look at the options that are real, and the options that are 100% real are Las Vegas. We know that we could just move forward with that fight. There are a lot of conversations ongoing with other sites which we want to explore. But when we look at a March or April fight, we've got the time to do that.
I spoke to Frank Smith yesterday. I asked him this question. I'll ask you as well. What is your relationship like with the GEA? I know obviously you had a great relationship with a skills challenge, but what's it like with the GEA?
I mean, we've never dealt with a GA before. They say they want to deal with all promoters. Obviously, I feel like we're the biggest promotional company in the world. We have Anthony Joshua. We have a number of other world champions that they want to work with, whether that's Dmitry Bivol in a better beer fight. So, yeah, I predict we'll do business with the GA in Saudi when they want a fighter that we represent. So they're obviously here to play. They've done a great job in the Fury against Ngannou fight. The production was out of this world. So I guess it'll be a matter of time. Obviously, our long-standing relationship was with Skills Challenge. Now the power of boxing is in the hands of the GEA, so we look forward to exploring opportunities with them as well.
On me and Ngannou front, Eddie, you said to me yesterday you'd reached out to the team just to kind of say, listen, if you want to move forward to maybe work with some of the AJ fight, we're available. If not, we can go down our own path. Did you get a response? Have you spoken to him since?
Not yet. No, I did message last night just to say, look, for me it's about planning AJ's future. If Ngannou wants the AJ fight, which is the biggest fight for him, then we're ready to open those negotiations. I haven't been through it with Anthony Joshua. I haven't even asked him if he wants to fight Ngannou, but my advice, if the deal was right, would be to 100% fight him because I think he wins the fight. I think it's a huge event. But until I hear back from T, I saw a public statement to say the only fights they're interested in are AJ and Tyson Fury rematch. If that's the case, easy conversation to have. So hopefully that will happen in the next couple of days, but we'll see.
Obviously, we know they've got that December 23rd date, they have a one to go ahead with. How quickly then would you have to try and progress talks there?
Yeah, I don't see Joshua and Ngannou happening on the 23rd. For us, it's no problem, but it's a fast turnaround. They've already reached out to us regarding some of our own fighters for December 23rd, so they are definitely looking at a show. Joshua and Ngannou, it's very quick. It's 7 weeks on Saturday, but we're ready to fight on the 23rd. My gut feeling is that a Joshua and Ngannou fight would happen more like January, February of next year. But until I have those conversations, I really don't know.
Would you say from initial, well, I know you haven't had the conversations rather, but do you think it would be more likely maybe Joshua and Ngannou over a Joshua Wilder fight?
No, I mean, our plan is to position AJ for the world heavyweight title. So whatever the route is, Ngannou's just a wild card. I saw someone last night put out something on Twitter saying, Hearn said that Joshua said that the Ngannou fight was not for him and it was a bit gimmicky. What's changed? What's changed is he beat Tyson Fury. And even if you don't think he beat Tyson Fury, he dropped him and maybe lost by a round. Maybe. I mean, that's given him the credibility and that's given, look, hands in the air, me the excuse to go to AJ and go, listen, this is a massive event for a lot of money and the guy's now got credibility, let's go and beat him. So that's what's changed. But again, until I have those conversations, I don't know if Francis Ngannou really wants the Anthony Joshua fight. If he does, happy to explore.
I've seen you allude to the point that you think Tyson may retire from boxing on the back of that. Do you think?
It wouldn't. Look, he retired before. He came back. But for me, it really, the criticism that I think he's going to receive will be difficult for him to deal with. Now, I'm sure he'll bounce back. I'm sure he'll be better against Usyk, etc., etc. But I don't know. Maybe he looks at it. Maybe he looks at the bank account and goes, I can't be bothered with this anymore. I'm not the fighter I was. Only he will know, and the training team will know. I think once he thinks he's declining, I think he'll walk away from the sport. But we don't know if the decline was because it was Ngannou and he weren't really up for it, or he's declining. Probably a little bit of both.
Eddie, I've seen your comments that you may well put Dmitry Bivol on January 13th in Vegas. Can you talk about potential opponent there and why go up against the Beterbiev Smith card?
I think it's a nice mix. I think obviously the winner of Callum Smith against Beterbiev, Callum Smith, will want to fight the winner of Bivol against who. So DAZN like that mix. Everybody wants to make Bivol against the winner of that fight. Originally it was Bivol Beterbiev. I honestly believe Callum Smith will win that fight. So we'll see. But yeah, it will be both guys fighting on the same night. the winners hopefully fight the winners.
On the opponent front, any closer for Dmitry?
Yeah, I mean, we've got about 4 guys we're in play with at the moment, so we'll have to see. I'm not going to tell them to you now while we're negotiating their money, but yeah, be a good opponent for January 13th. There are other conversations happening with Dmitry Bivol and the team and everybody, but January 13 looks like the date.
Saw some comments as well over social media that the team reached out to try and make the David-Morrell fight at 168 and that never progressed anywhere. Any truth in that?
I've never had any approach or any conversation with anyone about a Morrell-Bivol fight.
Perfect, Eddie. And then just moving forward, I saw again some more reports. Ben Eubank, Jan 27th.
Jan 27th. If it's Jan 27th, it'll be the Millennium Stadium. If it's February the 3rd, it could be Spurs. But they're the 2 dates that are in play. We had a meeting with Conor this morning. Calla is in negotiations with Chris Eubank Jr to make the fight. We let him do his side, we do our side, and hopefully we can announce the fight as soon as next week.
Devin Haney, Prograis. Showtime will not reportedly be putting on a pay-per-view for on December 9th. Happy, relieved?
Yeah, I'm not surprised. I mean, it's smart because we're selling really well. Haney-Prograis is just getting bigger and bigger. Time it comes around with fight week build-up, it's going to be a big fight. It's going to do good numbers. So yeah, it was mad to even think about going up against it on pay-per-view, and I think it was a good decision that they allowed us to be free on that night to do a massive show.
Do you anticipate seeing by the time Haney-Prograis swings around when they are in the ring?
What do I what?
When they are in the ring, Devin Haney, Prograis, what do you anticipate seeing?
Yeah, I saw Regis in the week say that, you know, I seem to be personally favouring Devin Haney. It's always difficult when you've got 2 guys. I've known Devin a long time, you know, was very close to him and still am. For me, it's about giving both guys the opportunity. I'm delivering everything I promised for Regis, and I brought Devin Haney back to Matchroom and DAZN and giving him the chance to win a second world title. So I think people talk about the power of Regis Prograis against the speed and the skill of Devin Haney, but people also underestimate the skill of Regis Prograis. We've seen Devin hurt at 135. Can he stand up to the power of Regis at 140? Will he be stronger at 140? Will he punch harder at 140? Like, I really see it as a 50-50 fight. Devin's got skills to burn, but Regis is a dog, and he's going to do everything he can to beat him that night. And they truly believe they'll knock out Devin Haney on December 9th.
The week after, Eddie, I saw some disappointment that the Ring magazine title will not be on the line for Bam and Sonny. Can you tell me why the Ring voted against that?
I believe like it was one person who said no on the committee. Mad, really. Like, everyone knows they're the 2 best in the division, and the Ring magazine normally gets it right every time. Like, when it's the 2 best in the division, it should be on the line. So, very poor decision from the Ring magazine, who we love, and I really rate their belt as the best in the sport. I think they should reconsider. I think they should go back to the committee and actually have a sensible sit down and say, okay, who are the best 2 fighters in the division? Everyone will and should say Bam and Sonny Edwards. So in that respect, it should be on the line, and we hope it is.
Sonny, I wouldn't say venting his frustration, but maybe a little disappointed Bam hasn't helped to promote the fight, in his words. As a promoter, do you feel like Bam could be doing more on it?
Listen, I don't think it's a fighter's obligation to start behaving out of character. Of course, we like it when things are heated, we like, you know, but be you. You know, if you don't want to push the fight. I would think that Robert Garcia is probably in his ear saying, let's not let this kid wind you up. You know, you don't want to be wound up against Sonny Edwards, make mistakes, start, you know he's setting traps for you. You want him to fight off emotion. So I'm sure fight week will bubble over nicely.
Eddie, final word from you. Last chance to sell tomorrow night.
Tomorrow night's a great card. You know, from Cancun to Monte Carlo. Watch tomorrow night. Unique environment. When you turn it on, you're going to see chandeliers everywhere. You're going to see tuxedos everywhere. You're going to see royalty. But you're going to see a great fight card. 4 really well-matched fights. 2 World Championship fights. Tough fight for our Joe Cordina. Brilliant rematch with Ramla Ali. It's going to be a night of action. Tune in live on DAZN around the world.
Eddie, thank you as always.
Cheers.